For the most part, video games involve controlling a character in either a 2D or 3D space and overcoming obstacles. Whether you're fighting shit or solving puzzles, you're usually playing as a human or a humanoid android battle maid, or in some cases, a god of creation trapped in a wolf's body. The obstacles that create the actual gameplay of most games rarely come to meet the characters you control in them, and more often than not, you're expected to get yourself out of the tutorial area and go and find some ass to kick yourself. Even in the most linear games, where exploration amounts to looking left and right down a fancy corridor, you have to move your character through the level to progress and actually get to that next enemy or puzzle. And it goes without saying that the more freedom you have and the bigger a map you're in, the longer these journeys are going to be. I mean, you've played games before. You know exactly how long you spend in any game moving a character around. And it's exactly this amount of movement that's completely boggled my mind as of late. It's probably got something to do with the fact that I played my first 3D Mario game only last year, but I always took movement for granted in games. Before I played Odyssey, and to a certain extent Death Stranding, movement was never really the fun of a game. It was just a way to get from one set of enemies to the next. After I played Odyssey, I felt like the wool fell from my eyes. I'd been an idiot the whole time, but more than that, what the fuck are game developers thinking? In all these games where the fun is in set-piece story missions and combat and puzzles, you're spending half the playtime of the entire game just getting to these good experiences in the most boring way possible. Like, I feel like it can't be any more simple, to the point where I'm surely missing something, but if you're going to have a massive open world and have the player move about, why isn't the movement the main focus of where the fun and excitement is coming from? I mean, my subconscious is clearly desperate for these mechanics to be there, because I've been playing Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, and I roll literally everywhere, even with the sound effects, and whenever I play a game with a jump button, I hammer that thing like I'm trying to win the gold medal in triple jump. There are so many excellent games that are weighed down by just completely boring movement systems. I hate to always pick on Rockstar Games, but I don't understand their design choices at all. Is there anyone in the world that finds it fun to have the default walking speed be half a mile per hour and have to tap fucking X constantly to go any faster, whether you're running or on the horse? I swear Rockstar Games are the reason for more broken controllers than From Software games. It's a fucking open world, for God's sake. Why is the movement so sluggish? Even if the movement isn't bad, it's usually just bang average. There's rarely any depth or complexity to any of it, and you essentially have a walk speed and a run speed, and a useless jump button if you're lucky. God of War and my favourite game Bloodborne both have amazing combat systems, with so many different choices to make at any time, but then have you just run around the game world with no interesting movement mechanics at all. Conversely, there are games that aren't that great overall, but have really fun movement systems. My favourite example is the Just Cause series, where it's essentially an empty standard open world game, but you've got a fucking wingsuit and a grappling hook, and holy shit man, it's just so fun just to move about. Where every other game you're driving from mission to mission because the open world is a stale, boring mess, in Just Cause I don't think I ever even played a story mission, because I spent the entire time flying about like a madman and loving it. It's not all doom and gloom though, and it's really great to see games that have even a fraction of an idea of some fun movement systems. Once they introduce a bit of momentum and speed and fluidity, it becomes a party for everyone involved. This technique where you get your pod to throw you in Nier Automata, shield surfing in Breath of the Wild, and this dive move in Metal Gear Solid V are all great examples of things I will do over and over again because they're just so much fucking fun. The standard running and jumping movement in each of these games isn't perfect, but just having these little things there makes such a difference to my enjoyment when navigating the world. Once again, it's the FPS genre that I feel needs to get its head sorted. Portal was a huge leap in the right direction, with its beautiful conservation of momentum between portals allowing me to fly across test chambers, but the standard and the most popular shooters all seem to be boots on the ground, realistic boring fucking strafe and aim and shoot and cover fucking bullshit. After getting a much needed lesson in movement shooters, I've been playing Titanfall 2's campaign, and holy shit if that game is not just blowing my dick off. Why isn't every game like this? Why can't I gain speed by wall running and double jump and wall run again and kick this guy in the face? And slide round here and fucking blast this guy with my shotgun in every game? Like the beautiful fusion of peanut butter and jam or ice cream on a burger, you have the sickly sweet PG rated movement mechanics of putting footprints on the walls, mixed with the salty Sea Dog PG-13 age restricted shooting mechanics of blasting dudes in the face with a shotgun from point blank range. I honestly can't begin to explain how fun it is to jump and slide all over the place while punching dudes that you were 100 meters away from half a second ago. It makes me so fucking sick that this isn't the norm of shooters. I mean, who wants to stand behind cover at one end of a hallway when you can actually have tactics by sliding around walls and flanking people? There are so many dynamic choices of where to be and where to move to next, and the pacing of the game is electric to the point where I made this whole video just to express how fucking awesome it is, and how I want to jump and slide and wall run in every game. It's so much fun that I spent 5 minutes yesterday just running along the same piece of wall because playing with momentum just never gets old for me. I couldn't end this video without talking about Mario, and I've been playing Super Mario 64 recently as well, and I'm just so shocked at how much depth the game from 1996 can have in terms of movement. You can triple jump and dive and slide and backflip and wall jump, and almost none of this is necessary to play the game, but I spent over half an hour in the starting area just pissing about because every single moment of controlling Mario is just so much fun. I heard messing about in an empty open world is how Miyamoto tested the game to see if it was fun, and it absolutely shows. Every 3D Mario game is a testament to what games can be, and I'm just glad I learned to appreciate movement mechanics sooner rather than later. I mean, could you imagine a game that blended a sick melee combat system like Sekiro's with the movement mechanics of something like Mario or Titanfall? The Goomba stomp in Sekiro was cool, but I'd love to see the idea pushed even further. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that movement is super important when it comes to game design, but so many games seem to neglect it as childish or bad in favour of other mechanics. You're always moving around in games, and it seems so obvious that it should be the gameplay rather than some other secondary thing. Instead of the fun being over there somewhere and having to spend 5 minutes walking or driving to get to it, when the movement mechanics are awesome, the fun starts from wherever you're standing. And also, play Titanfall 2. Thank you to Respawn for showing me what an FPS can be. Thank you to Mario for being the undisputed king of #gamers. And thank you for watching. Cheers.